Hi everyone, this lesson's about respiration. The learning objective is I will learn the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Before we get on to this, I just want to recap what we were looking at last lesson, which was to do with breathing, or the mechanics of breathing. When you're breathing in, this is known as inspiration. The diaphragm, which is the muscular sheet at the base of the lungs, contracts and moves downwards. The ribs pulled up by the external intercostal muscles, and this creates space for the lungs to inflate with air. When you breathe out, this is known as exhalation. The diaphragm now relaxes into a dome shape and the ribs are pulled down by the internal intercostal muscles. It creates high pressure inside the lungs, like squeezing a balloon, and as you do this, the air will leave the lungs. The key distinction between breathing and respiration is that breathing is simply the movement of air in and out of the lungs. Respiration is to do with the exchange of gases. Now these are different elements of what you might associate with aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration. What I'd encourage you to do is pause this slide, have a look at each of these different components and have a think, which one do they apply to, aerobic or anaerobic? On the next slide, I'll reveal the answers. Aerobic or anaerobic? Let's go through aerobic first. So from the previous slide, aerobic you should have got, there's glucose involved, there's oxygen involved, there's water, carbon dioxide, energy, working at a lower intensity and a longer duration. A good example of this would be a marathon runner. In anaerobic respiration, there's also glucose involved. There's no oxygen. Energy again, lactic acid, working at a higher intensity for a shorter duration, and a good example of this is sprinting. Now we know the different parts of aerobic and anaerobic respiration, it's important that you can summarize this information into two simple equations. Aerobic respiration is glucose plus oxygen equals energy plus carbon dioxide plus water. Anaerobic respiration is glucose equals energy plus lactic acid. As you can see, glucose is present in both types of respiration. Glucose is essentially the food that you eat, which is stored inside your body as energy. The key distinction between the two of them is that oxygen is only present in aerobic respiration. The presence of oxygen that allows you to maintain a level of performance for an extended period of time, for example, running a marathon. In anaerobic respiration, there is no presence of oxygen, so performance can only be maintained for a short period of time. Energy is produced in both, but in aerobic, it's that carbon dioxide and water that's produced, whereas anaerobic, it's that poisonous lactic acid that builds up, means you have to stop doing what you're doing.